What's going on, guys? We are back. We are back again to talk about a couple of things, but mostly one thing and one thing only. I didn't have time to do any editing after this or uploading, so I figured why not just click live. I told a lot of people on here and in the real world that this was most likely going to happen. This was most likely going to happen. What am I talking about? I'll tell you exactly what I'm talking about. Antony went on debut. Antony, I'm saying it the way the Poms say it, went on debut today and got man of the match for Real Betis. Got a match rating of 7.3 in his debut. You want to know what else he got, bruv? He got the Ronaldinho. He got the Cristiano Ronaldo in Turin. He got the standing O, the big O. A standing ovation. And you want to know how he did it? Even though it was early in the game, out of absolutely nothing, he gets the ball, puts it on his left, and does exactly. And this isn't for lack of involvement either. He skied a couple of shots before that, but he made some great twists and turns before that as well. He gets played in behind the keeper in a not-so-great pass. Does his usual left step over. The shot is blocked by the keeper and scored by Isco. Blocked by the keeper, scored by Isco. We got 6 people here right now, which is very good. I don't usually get people on lives on this channel, so it's making me feel nice. Strasbourg Steve is here. My guy, Strasbourg Steve. It's good to see you, bro. I hope you've been well. Lazio going to win tomorrow, bro. Let me know. He left the toxic pit that is United. Gets a standing ovation on his debut. A standing ovation. And this is exactly what I'm talking about. Antony's not world class. He ain't no world beater. But go and watch his goal. Sorry, not his goal. His assist. This is exactly the sort of shit that we are going to need. This is exactly the sort of stuff that we are going to need in the FA Cup, in the Europa League. We're going to need these sort of moments. We're going to need these sort of Antony moments. And as of right now, He's not with us. He's with another club. He's with Betis. We haven't got him anymore, lads. There aren't many players left. And this is coming off the back of our absolutely wank result to Crystal Palace. I'll talk about that towards the end of this video. But as of now, the only thing I'm interested in discussing is Antony's debut. Antony's debut. And he probably wasn't a world beater today. I'm sure if I went and watched the actual game back, I'd look at it and go, yeah, blow us. But that's not the point. The point is that he's going to be there for moments for Betis when they need him the most. When they need him the most this season, he will be there. And when we need someone that can pull a rabbit out of a hat, to pull something out of their cooler and get us out of a bad situation, yeah, well, we can't turn to Antony and we can't turn to Trashford either. I'm more disgruntled about this one than PR Rashford. I really, really am. Both piss me off. But still, the way we've handled this market, once again, not good enough. Yeah, but Antony though. And he just looked so happy, so free, playing in a better environment, to be honest. He had a hand in the... I don't think he had a hand in the second goal, actually. He picks the ball. I know that he... straight after halftime, there was one moment where he picks the ball up and there's a few defenders around him and he beautifully holds them off and plays it into space. And then there was another time as well where he picks the ball up pretty deep, but because of his footwork, he's got time to take an extra touch backwards, clear the ball forward, and Betis clear the danger. Now, these aren't the sort of moments that I was going to need him for in United. Those aren't the sort of Antony moments where I was looking at this highlight package go, oh, did you see that? See that good work? 13 minutes, 13 meters outside of his own box. But hey, standing ovation because of his input attacking wise. And I'm telling everybody again, and after today, I'm not going to say it anymore, bro. I'm not going to say it anymore after today. What's the point? I don't like banging my head against the wall and repeating the same shit. I do enough of that with Inter Worldwide, man. I really do. But he will start enjoying his football again, and that is important. Very much so important. Still 6 of you here right now. Like the video, subscribe if you are new. Always let me know if you are new in the chat. Always let me know if you are new. So, an assist just 15 minutes into it. No complaints for Antony. No complaints for Betis. You know, this guy's come, at the end of the day, he's another Brazilian who's come from the favelas in Brazil. And he has risen from nowhere to become a footballer at the highest of levels. Always sort of tries his best. And just for that, he deserves all of the credibility that he's entitled to, especially on a day like today. And he'll perform better with less pressure on him. I mean, that's just a fact. Human beings tend to perform better with less pressure on him. Most do. There are some in that crop that perform better with the pressure, but it's definitely more that perform when there is no pressure on them. And Antony is now in a low pressure environment, and good for him because he needs it. He needs that low pressure environment. He really does. He wasn't cutting it here. But I would have wanted to see him stick around in January, because once again, we're going to be looking at these guys for moments. We're going to be looking for moments, guys. Amorim is not adaptable when it comes to his formation. Playing Ahmed false 9 without any central forwards running behind him is criminal. I guess that's the invitation to start talking about today's game. But I wanted to talk a little bit more about Antony's statistics for today, man, because today he played 71 minutes. He played 71 minutes and had 1 assist. And I just think that today he showed that he's not a flop by any means. He's not worth that price tag, but nobody is. Even the players that we've signed in this market aren't worth the price that we've paid for them. Yeah, 80 million is a different story, but 1 game, 1 assist, 1 man of the match for Iluminado. So good for him. Pellegrini is a good manager. He spoke very positively about Antony afterwards. Saying it was a very good debut. Spoke to him before the game. I think he did tell him to not show off his skills with the ball, but he's playing around some decent players as well in that Betis team. Obviously playing with Isco, Diego Llorente. He's playing centre back there. I don't know if anyone knows him. He's a pretty good player. Jesus Rodriguez plays on the left hand side of Isco there, so not a bad player there at all. Giovanni Lo Celso plays in that team. I'm sure people know who that is. Vitor Roque plays in that team. I'm sure a lot of you know who that is as well. So there's still plenty of names in that team. And I'll be very, very, very surprised if he doesn't succeed in this loan spell. I believe that he is definitely going to succeed in this loan spell. Who did not succeed was Manchester United today against Crystal Palace. And I'm not going to spend too much time talking about this result. I only really came on here to have a sook about the situation with Antony because, I got that one right. And I love being right about this sort of shit because there's nothing more I love in the world than being wrong about the football teams I support. I mean, if they can prove me wrong when I'm negative, fantastic. More power to them. Less power to me. You get me? But today we lost 2-0 to Crystal Palace. No one was surprised. I was not surprised. In fact, they were one of the sure things on my parlay or multi, depending on what you call it. That and the Detroit Pistons at home in Detroit. They're rolling at the moment in the NBA. And also Juventus to win head-to-head against Empoli. And also, if you like my negative gearing tactics, Inter to not win against AC Milan. And then it's good money. But this was a sure thing. Crystal Palace or draw. Double chance. Man United have lost, I think, 5 out of the last 6 games, or dropped points 5 out of their last 6 games at Old Trafford. Fortress, well, like fuck this, like absolutely awful. When has that ever been a case? We're gonna end this season. We're gonna end this season with the worst record in our Premier League history. We will end somewhere between 9th and 14th this season, and because of that, we deserve every bit of criticism we get. Thank you, bro. You're not being negative. You're just calling it how you see things. That's it, Brand. That's it, man. Manchester United, we have just been awful at home. I think altogether 7 home defeats for this year. 7 home defeats altogether this year. Most of them under Amorim. So, yeah, awful game today. Awful game from start to finish. We lined up with Onana, Maguire, Euro, Lissandro, and there goes Lissandro. I'll get back to that. Mazraoui, who can't play in that position anymore. I'm sorry, he's not it. Fernandez, Dalot, and Ugarte as the midfield, and Diallo, Mino, and Garnacho. Diallo up front, eh? I know Højlund and Xerxes haven't really been cutting it, especially Højlund, but Ahmed in the 9. I wasn't feeling it either. I wasn't feeling it either, man, to be honest. After watching majority of the match back, it was just regular dross. I don't think we looked too bad at the start of each half. We've clearly got that little kick-on effect, that little energetic click-on effect. But like today, I felt like as I was watching the game back, every single Crystal Palace player, man for man, had a better game. Every single one of them. Lerma had a better game than his opposition number. Munoz had a better game than his opposition number. Hell, man, Chris Richards had a better game than his opposition number. Kamada had a better game than his opposition number. They were all over us, bro. All over us completely. And today is just another example of why Ruben Amorim has his practice board out. Like the practice pitch is the Premier League. Practice Premier League, man. This brings me back to Antony. We don't need him for the Premier League. The Premier League was over before Amorim got here. Even our Champions League qualification hopes were down before he got here. It's all about Europa League. It's all about FA Cup. And we don't have moments players for it. Games like today lead me to believe that Mazraoui needs to play as a right centre-back or a left centre-back. And with the injury to Lisandro Martinez, which looked like a cruciate ligament, that's probably likely to keep him out until the rest of the season. That's also our only progressive ball-playing centre-back that's out now for the rest of the season. Not like there was any pressure from that Heaven guy that we signed to begin with. But, hey, now there's more pressure than ever on you, bro. There is more pressure than ever on you. And I hope that he doesn't even see the field for us because I do not want him to have that pressure. A double today for Jean-Philippe Mateta. And the goals are very typical of goals that we concede this season. Very, very, very typical, actually. How many times do you see the other team whip a cross in at the moment? Or how many times do you see the opposition get a set piece and just like turn away altogether or just don't watch altogether? Once again, I don't think we started the game poorly. Like I remember one ball was played from Lissandro, ball playing centre back, to Mazraoui, and there was a chance if we just got the shot on target. I think it was Ugarte. I can't remember exactly who it was, or it might have been Garnacho. Had his shot blocked. If that shot doesn't get blocked, it's probably going on target. But yeah, once again, Mazraoui didn't get out to his man quick enough for me. Diego Dalot very easily beaten in the air on multiple occasions. I think once or twice, doesn't even jump for the ball. And, Crystal Palace should have had one before halftime as well. It was amazing that it took that long for them to put the ball in the back of the net. It's just poor performances on poor performances stacking up against us in the Premier League, knowing that we're going to come out firing more and just, pushing the boundaries a little bit more in the cup competitions. Yeah, because it leaves me feeling okay, because at the end of the day, I was already resigned to the fact that the Premier League was lost. So because of that, I'm just all about the cup vibes. And I always back us. Bruno came close as well today, I should say. These players aren't geared up for something that there's no objective for. Like, there's no reason to play well in the Premier League at the moment. There's no reason for them as long as they don't get relegated. The best is a mid-table finish. Decent attempt on goal as well from Ugarte. I think when he got really, really low to hit it on the half volley. All these memories are just starting to come back to me of the game today now. And yeah, what about the goals, man? What about the goals? Like, Onana's positioning for the header that beats him and goes on the crossbar. Wank. Complete wank, man. Completely awful. So far off his line. Like, at that point in time, you could tip that over and it would go out for a corner. Like, it doesn't even continue to move back as the ball is already over his body. Like, every game that goes on, he's giving us more reasons why he's not going to be the one here. It's not the same goalkeeper that I knew at Inter. Nowhere near it. When Lissandro goes down and calls for the injury, you can just tell it's bad, bro, because he starts bursting into tears. And everyone was just so worried, because so they should be, because now we got nothing. We play a high line. They make it 2-0 by playing our defenders in at the back. And we're done out here. And Ruben, like I said, it's experiment time, because he changed the lineup from Bucharest. He's using the Premier League as his training pitch for next season, and I'm okay with it. I'm not here to complain about that. I'm not riled up about this result. Like I said, results mean very little in the Premier League at the moment to Manchester United. As sad as that is, they mean very little. Very little. But what does mean something is who is available for these cup competitions now more than ever, bruv. More than ever. The fact that we were looking at our bench today and one of those players between Xerxes and Højlund is going to have to be starting matches. So who are you going to bring on to save the game all the time? We've lost 7 home games this season, guys. 7 home games in the Premier League this season. I think only Wolves have lost more home games than us. Oh, man. It's so upsetting to sit here and talk about this kind of shit like this. It really is. That win lifted them above us today as well. We're in a lower mid to lower table clash with Crystal Palace, and they're flogging over us as they beat us as well. Toothless Manchester United, awful game. And I think after watching more highlights back, I think Ahmed might have been one of our worst starters. He got nothing right all game. Shit finish, poor passing, poor dribbling. Garnacho spent all his time hugging the touchline today. I call him a touchline hugger all the time, which is why even if age and numbers-wise it didn't make sense, I'd be all for a player like João Felix coming in for Garnacho. Gives you so much more in so many more dimensions of the field. Yeah, so... Yeah. What can I say? I know the squad isn't where it should, but Amorim should be picking up more points. Definitely, but he's experimenting so much in this Premier League, isn't he? He's experimenting so much in this Premier League. And why not? He knows the cup competitions now are there to be won. And he got it all wrong today. And he's going to keep getting it wrong. And part of me thinks he's sort of not getting it wrong on purpose, but doing everything he can to make sure he knows as much as possible at the end of the season. And that's the pass I'm willing to give him now, because I do think we are going to make some slightly deep runs in cup competitions. And I hope we do. That's all I'm going to say and stick around for today. It was a very short video. I appreciate Upfront 9 and Strasbourg Steve for coming through. If you are new to the channel, definitely consider subscribing, and I'll see you next time for more. The next Manchester United game. it's hard to look ahead to these games, man. But it is the FA Cup, which is fantastic to look forward to. We are at home against Leicester City this Saturday, 7 a.m. kickoff for me, which means it's a Friday night for all of you folk in the motherland. All right. Thank you very much. My name is Anthony.